Hi, I'm Alex Stutchbury and welcome to ARTClass, a series of videos teaching you the key skills needed to create great art. Today I'm going to teach you about the Impressionist painting technique, a famous style which came about in the 1800s, but one which has been famous and most appreciated throughout time since it originated because of its use of vibrant, dynamic colours representing the lighting and the atmosphere as well as the scenery included in the pictures. Here are our objectives.
Do I know why Monet and the Impressionists painted in their unique way? And can I replicate their style to create my own atmospheric pieces? Monet wanted to capture the feeling and atmosphere of the locations, and that's why he used really warm and cool colour palettes to represent that, one of his first pieces being Impression Sunrise.
So first I'm going to recreate Impression Sunrise. This is a piece by Claude Monet shown in the very first Impressionist show. In fact, he called it Impression Sunrise because he wanted to clarify to the audience that it wasn't so much about the detail of the buildings in the Le Havre dock, but it was actually the looseness was trying to show and replicate the haziness of the lighting at that time of day, thus an impression. And because of the title, they actually called the rest of the artists Impressionists because of this looser technique and painting style. So let me show you how to create this or recreate it using just normal everyday acrylic paints and a piece of cartridge paper.
First, apply on some base washes, just mapping in the rough basic colours. There's no detail needed here. For your paints, you need white and the three primary colours, but use crimson, red and Prussian blue because they can go both darker and still be lightened with the white to mix to a lighter tone.
You must apply the paint layers boldly. The first layer was a wash, but now each paint brush stroke should be visible, so don't water it down. Apply them on and layer up those colours. If you go wrong, who cares? You let it dry and then paint over the top in a moment, but you want to have all of those brush strokes showing because that is part of that impressionistic illusion of the hazy lighting.
So as a close-up example, using some lighter tones initially, and then to make the buildings darker, you'd use thicker, darker, bolder blues on top. Really layer on that paint. You can see there's almost a texture to the paint when you apply a lot on. So let's put this into practice now. Building up these layers, first starting in the background and then working your way forward. For the sky, there is some darker blue contrast around where the sun will go, and then some pale, almost mauve colours using a bit of red in with the blue for the background buildings. Some of that's reflected into the sky as well, and then applying some other lighter tones of blue over the key on the right hand side to mimic with the left, but you can now see a little bit of depth where those cranes are getting overlaid on top of the lighter blues in the background. Lots of masts of ships and cranes in this Le Havre scene. They obviously reflect into the water underneath, but when you're applying that water texture underneath, break it up, blob and dab on so it doesn't look like a solid object, but just a reflection on a water surface.
Don't be tempted to use a small brush. Use a thicker one because actually that's part of the style that you get and it will stop you from being too precise. It's not about every individual detail. You don't see every single window pane on a Claude Monet picture to get the sense of the building. So use fatter, thicker brushes because then it encourages you to work quite quickly, pasting it on, but without having to worry about all the painstaking details.
To mix up a black for these close-up foreground boats, apply blue, red and a little bit of yellow together and they neutralise each other. Then, in a very impressionistic way, just like Monet did, lots of little flicks, slightly curved to represent the ripples in the water. Don't forget the little reflections underneath the boat as well. Layer a range of these and make sure the flicks are getting slightly smaller as it gets further away to also help give the illusion of depth. And then finally that nice warm orange almost blood red sun rising in the sky and reflecting underneath.
So there you go, your very own impression sunrise. If you want to have a go and do it one yourself, follow those tips mentioned a moment ago, and also have a look at the slide at the end of the video which goes through all of the stages again. Also, watch part 2 because I'm going to show you now how to put all of those techniques into practice to develop your own impressionist technique final piece. So tune in to part 2 and follow those instructions. I look forward to seeing how you get on. My name's Alex Stutchbury. Goodbye.